Good morning. Gray and I watched the solar eclipse yesterday. She's inside sleeping right now. It was so amazing, guys. It was everything I could have hoped for. Gray and I talked about anything and everything. We both came to really big realizations. We both had really big epiphany moments. It was just such a beautiful experience. We were outside all day. We were also going to camp outside last night, and we set up the tent. We set up my hammock, which I love my hammock, but we ended up taking everything down because it was predicted to rain at like 7 a.m. So I made the decision and I was like, hey Gray, do you mind if we actually sleep inside? And she was understanding. She was so nice about it. I really wanted to camp. I just did not want to wake up with rain pouring on me during one of my first times camping. I don't know if I've camped before. I'm pretty sure I've gone to the Pocket with Riley and her family before, but that's not anywhere in the crevices of my memory right now. I just can't wait to set up my hammock and just go lay in multiple different forests and look at multiple different views. One of the epiphanies I had yesterday while talking to Gray was actually about the anxiety I've been experiencing and the change I've been wanting to see. I've just watched so many videos and so many different sources, and they all just talked about different perspectives. They all had different theories on what was going to happen on April 8th, and eventually I stopped watching the videos because they just gave me anxiety. Whenever you're given a date, something is going to happen on this date, the world is going to end on this date, the world is going to completely change on this date, which was April 8th. And as we were getting to April 8th, I just felt like I was struggling with so many intrusive thoughts, so many thoughts telling me that I wasn't going to make it to the new earth, that something big was going to happen, like yada yada yada. The world didn't end or anything, which is a very good thing because I still want to go on my adventure. Not that I would have experienced the end of the world. I don't think I was going to experience that, but there were just so many different things being told, like it was going to be the rapture, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see the rapture happening. I can see where the Bible verses are lining up with certain events. But something Gray had asked me that gave me an epiphany was, why do you need something to happen to feel happy, to feel like there has been change? And she just really reminded me that our internal world is what matters the most, finding happiness, contentment in our internal world, and then being the change and showing people what it can be like. You can spend all your days outside. You can have fun. You don't have to work all day every day of your life because that's what they teach you have to do, but you do not have to do that. She really just helped me understand that I don't need something big to happen. I don't need to have the world significantly change overnight. We don't need the power grids to go out in order to make change. We just have to make the change internally because that's all we can control. We can only control the way we perceive things. We can't control the world. We can't control the corporations. We can choose to not indulge in them. We can choose to separate ourselves from that, and that's what I'm going to try to do the most. She helped me a lot with that. Now that it's April 9th, all of my fears and anxiety has gone away. In conclusion of that, though, the solar eclipse was just so amazing, so beautiful. Another big thing that I'm kind of learning right now and going through is just the transition between my friendships. Whenever you're young, you don't really think you'll grow out of your childhood best friends. You think you're going to be best friends forever. You think that you're going to go on every trip together. You're going to be each other's bridesmaid and maid of honors. I've been just learning the lesson that love is not enough. I can't stay in this cul-de-sac because I'm loved here, but also I've been recognizing that it feels as if my friendships are over. And I was expecting this. I just wasn't really expecting it to happen in this way where the energy is just so off. And it just kind of irks me because it kind of reeks of immaturity. Nobody is communicating with me. Nobody is telling me how they feel. I tried. I did my part. I asked my best friends to hang out. I've given them opportunities to communicate with me. I am heavily against religion and specifically their religion, so I can understand where the rift is coming from. I can understand I play a big part of it. Anytime I walk past Sarah for the past months, it's a disconnect. There is no connection between us anymore. We don't have anything in common. We are on completely different paths in life. So we have completely different morals. We think completely differently. I would do anything for these girls because these girls have been my ride or die since day one. But me talking about my own beliefs, that's what did it. Are you serious? Like, did you seriously think me coloring and not paying attention in church, me crying and sobbing and fighting every single time they would try to force me to go to church, did y'all think that meant I loved your God? Did you really think that meant I agreed with what you believed? I've done nothing but encourage these girls with their beliefs. I've done nothing but support them and accept them and love them regardless of me disagreeing with their beliefs. But it just seems as if they can't communicate about their beliefs unless it's someone telling them that their beliefs are right. They can't communicate with me about me having different beliefs because they need me to believe what they believe in order to understand almost. I don't need people to believe in what I believe. I just want them to accept me for who I am. And I don't feel that energy right now, which again, I can understand. I've been making videos online about how much I don't like their religion and making videos about how I've seen so many inconsistencies. Hey, maybe the epitome of love, the creator of love itself, maybe it shouldn't be promoting fear. Fear your God and you'll be fine. How is that love? I'm going to continue to speak out against that. Many people are traumatized and hurt by religion because of these fearful beliefs that are forced onto other people. They haven't asked me or talked to me about my own beliefs. Again, they don't even have to believe in them. They just have to have interest in my life. I've done my part. I've tried to be mature. I've tried to give them opportunities to communicate with me about how they're feeling. The time they communicated with me about how they're feeling at the pocket, they bombarded me and would not listen to me and would just tell me everything I was saying was wrong. That's not communication. That's an intervention where you're trying to tell someone what they need to think and believe. That's not how it works. They weren't giving me any resolution. I asked them like, hey, I mean this genuinely, but what are you guys trying to gain from this conversation? I can accept that we have different beliefs and we can talk about these different beliefs, but you need to accept that we have different beliefs, that I'm not going to believe in what you believe. And Riley was like, I can't accept that. It was like they got mad because I wasn't giving them what they wanted. They were communicating their feelings. I was thankful that they were communicating how they felt, but it's almost like they expected me to be like, I'm sorry, I'll stop making the videos because I hurt your feelings. It is valid for them to be upset. It is valid for them to be hurt by what I'm saying because it is their beliefs. That is completely valid. I just tried to be as patient and understanding as possible, but I'm not going to stop talking about my beliefs because you got your feelings hurt. I'm just frustrated. It's like 20 years of friendship where I've done nothing but love these girls and accept them and try to be there for them. And it's like the second I start becoming my own person and being more outspoken, and I'm a strong, opinionated person. I want to make change. I want to be the change. I want to influence people in a positive way. That's crazy. Like, that's actually crazy. The fact that I've accepted their beliefs that I have not believed in my entire life and supported them and talked to them about their church and talked to them about their beliefs. But the second I disagree with their beliefs verbally and talk about what I've thought almost my entire life, that's the end. That's crazy. You can tell there's a lot of resentment that's coming out right now. I was so scared to develop a sense of self because if I developed a sense of self, then my fear of abandonment would kick in and I would be abandoned for who I was because I'm not who everybody thought I always was. But I'm past that now. I am incapable of suppressing myself. I am incapable of mirroring. I'm incapable of molding myself to be who people want me to be. I can't do that. And I think that's why there's so much ruffling happening in my friendships, is because it's almost all been a lie. Not the love, but who I am has always been a lie. I have to have the courage to make people upset. I have to have the courage to disappoint people. I have to have the courage to be disliked. I have to be the villain in some people's stories, validly again. In their story of what they believe, I'm hella villain. The devil's inside of Stephanie. She's gonna go to hell. Imagine trying to communicate with someone that you know will not be able to accept certain information without getting defensive and without getting mad because they feel offended. They feel disrespected because of my beliefs. And there's really no way to communicate with someone like that about different beliefs because there'll always be a wall of cognitive dissonance where they won't even be able to just accept that you believe that, not even respect it, not even believe it for themselves, but accept that's what you believe. I don't know. So I've been watching my own videos, and anytime I watch my own videos, especially my earlier season 1 episodes, my self-destructive BPD episode video, that one always gets me. And I've just been crying because I feel for her so much. It doesn't even feel like that's me because I feel so vastly different than how I was in the past. But watching my own videos, it really shows me how far I've come, but it also shows me how much I used to struggle, and it's always a reminder of how lonely I felt and how in some ways some things haven't changed. I depend on recording videos to process what I need to process because I don't really have anybody who can externally help me with that, or at least I don't utilize them if I do. But I used to be really, really sick, and I think it hits harder now as someone who's not as sick. I am sick, but it's so strange that people can look at you and see you in that state and only ever really think you're lazy and only ever think that you're doing that for attention, to the point that it literally drills into your own head that you're doing it for attention. That's crazy. I feel like that's something a lot of people with BPD struggle with because all of our lives, whenever we're growing up and developing BPD, we're being taught that all of our emotions and feelings and everything are just us being dramatic and us just trying to get attention. But even with that point, whenever a kid is asking for attention, maybe give it to them. I can understand you can't give it to them 24/7, but maybe give the kid what they're asking for because you're the only person that can provide their needs. This society is so sick that it creates more sick people, and then people like me who have taken the effort to try to not be as sick as we used to be still have to struggle with the outskirts of our sick society. Now, Gray is helping me understand the internal world and how I need to focus on myself, which I understand. This might be random because I don't know how much audio I lost, but I really need to give myself more credit for all of the hard work that I've done and how far I've come. I really need to just take these next few months and drill into my head that I've done a good job and that I am a good person and that I am trying my best and I'm doing my best and it's showing in positive ways. I'm very intelligent. I'm not the smartest person on earth. I don't know everything. If anything, there's so much I don't know, but I'm intelligent. I did all of that myself. I educated myself. I was able to be supported by my best friends and I was able to be shown what unconditional love looked like at the time, but I simply can't gaslight myself. I can't do that anymore. I was so dumb, so stupid, never lived up to my potential. I was so lazy, got called all the worst things all the time, which there's a reason I don't remember. There's no reason for me to keep digging back into my past the way I used to in the past because the past is in the past. It's over with. It's not coming back. But I do still think it's important for me to be able to look back into my past and be able to look at it with acceptance and love and compassion. But it's moments like these where I'm watching my own videos and I'm reminded of what a dark place I was in, how depressed, lonely, misunderstood I was. I didn't understand myself. I didn't understand why I did the things I did. I was learning about BPD. I knew a lot about it. I was on the track of getting to where I am today, obviously, but it just reminds me to remember how much I've done and how much great work I've accomplished. I've helped so many people through all of the pain I've gone through. Whenever I was younger, I had my fan account for After, and I helped curate a community of just love and acceptance, a community of people who shared love for the book, the After series. And that was mostly just during the production of the first film. After that, everything kind of went downhill, and then my mental health went downhill, so I stopped posting on that account because I mentally couldn't do anything. I was disabled. Like living with a mix of bipolar disorder, autism, ADHD, it is a very difficult life. And when I say I make it look easy, it's not because I'm trying to be self-centered and egotistical. This is a disability I have, but I'm not allowed to be disabled. Do you know what it's like to not be allowed to be disabled? You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to be supported in the way you're meant to be supported, the way you need to be supported. I really want to do EMDR therapy. I know one day I'm going to be able to get on meds if need be. I know that these things will be provided to me and I will have access to them, but I have to wait, obviously. I have to keep living. I have to keep experiencing, and eventually on my journey I'll get there, but I can't fast forward. That's not the type of experience this is, although that would be really convenient. But in comparison, I am so thankful for myself because other people can look at me and think I'm a crazy kook. I don't know what I'm talking about. She lives in her own world. Yeah, I live in my own world because y'all's is sick as fuck and y'all made me sick as fuck. But I was strong enough to heal myself in the ways that society teaches you can't do. But I still did it. In terms of rewiring your brain, do you know how difficult that is? I've overcome every single obstacle that has come my way, and I have flourished because of it. I have been nothing but suppressed, pulled down, gaslit. If you think that being incorporated in our current society is going to help you heal and become a better person internally, not even just being a better person for the external factor, but being happier and more loving within yourself, you're not going to find that within our current sick society. You have to find that within yourself and within niche communities where people are able to heal. With me finding Gray and I were pulled together by the invisible string. There's an invisible string theory where people are connected and they come into each other's lives at the exact moment that they're needed in each other's lives. I was a huge fan of Gray's. I loved Gray's videos. I would watch them all the time. I would feel so happy when they pop up on my For You page. Anytime she would acknowledge me in the comments, I'd be like, oh my god, this makes me so happy. I love her videos. I'm so happy that she knows I exist. Oh my god, that's so funny to think about. Now in my current reality, I'm best friends with this girl. We were mutuals. We interacted every so often, and then eventually she texted me, and then we started talking more often, and then we became best friends. So we were introduced to each other at different times in our lives, and we didn't even become friends instantly after we had seen and known of each other's existence. We became friends when we were both ready to be each other's friends and ready to grow in the ways that we were meant to together. It's just a theory, but if it is true, that is just such a miraculous experience, honestly, because I don't believe in coincidences, truly. Like, this is all creation. there is a mindful, powerful, intelligent creator behind all of this in whatever way that we can't understand as of right now, but it's in some way has to be by a creator. Nothing just happens, right? Everything are synchronicities in the world. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in the moment that it's meant to. There are no coincidences. And I think that's beautiful. Within my beliefs, obviously you do not have to share those beliefs, but within my beliefs, that's just helped me feel happier. I feel more content. I feel more understood within the universe. But holy cow, I've gone through so much. And I've overcome so much. Like, that's actually crazy for me to think about. Like, I've just isolated myself from the world, that's not really inherently healthy, but I've completely isolated myself from this sick society that just thinks that they know what they're doing and thinks they know better. I think I also have a lot of resentment for society because I choose this life, I choose this path, I choose to get better. I just have so much resentment for people who don't go on the same path as me, which I obviously have to continue working on, but it just makes me so angry sometimes where people are so unself-aware and they're so confident about their behavior and about themselves. And it just really makes you wonder how sick and how deep rooted is the corruption. The resentment is what keeps popping up. And I'm like, why don't you guys get better? Why don't you heal? You're telling me I'm sick that I don't understand, but you don't even take the effort to educate yourself. But I have to remind myself that not everybody comes to Earth to be awakened. Not everybody comes to Earth to experience the same things I experience. Without them, I wouldn't be able to have the experience I'm having. So I know everybody plays the role that they're meant to play. So the resentment I'm feeling is just a lesson that I need to learn. And there's a reason why I'm feeling it, so I can learn the lessons I need to learn, but I hate being in the middle of the lesson. Can we fast forward to where I no longer struggle with resentment in the way that I do now? Like, I know I'll get there. I'll be there in like 2 or 3 weeks, I assume, but make it go faster. I'm also really happy that I did get to cry tonight because I don't really get to feel my emotions much, especially since I don't really have many memories. I haven't really been struggling with as many flashbacks, honestly. I don't feel as attached to my past as I used to. The pain comes from the suppression, so I know that suppressing the memories is only me denying the reality of what I went through. So I have to accept what I went through in order to start healing. But because of the memory loss, I'm actually really happy I have memory loss. I used to see it as a bad thing, but I think as of right now, it's serving me. I need to rewire my brain, and then when I remember, I'll crumble and fall and cry for days and grieve, but I know that it'll be for a reason and that I'll be able to express my emotions a lot better. We're gonna move on to a completely separate subject. Something Gray had told me really stood out to me, and I was like, oh, thank you for saying that. But also, she was like, I don't understand how people can perceive you in so and so ways, because Gray just really knows me for who I am. She knows me for my intentions. She asks me questions. She asks me who I am. She gets to know me. She doesn't make assumptions. Our perception of people are most commonly assumptions of people, but she has a perception of me that is well educated, if you will. She actually asks me about my interests, listens to me talk about what I like to talk about and my own beliefs. Even though we don't agree with everything, we are pretty aligned with what we believe in, but we don't have all of the same beliefs. We do see different perspectives and different things because, again, we're different people. But she knows me for who I am, and I feel like not a lot of people ever take the effort to ever really know who I am. They only make assumptions. Questions are something that you ask whenever you need more clarifying information. It's a great thing to know about. Questions can be very beneficial to your life. I really recommend checking it out and checking out this lifestyle of asking questions to clarify information you might not fully understand. It's such a great idea. You guys should start fucking doing that. I don't understand people's lack of questioning. People just listen to something and they accept it. They digest it. And it's like, okay, again, resentment, I need to stop. I feel so vastly different than everyone and everything I'm surrounded by, and I don't know if that means I'm the problem or if I'm the solution. Most times I'm confident that my mindset and my brain could possibly be the solution, and the reason I'm not getting a lot of traction right now is because I have a lot to learn. Again, I have a lot of arrogance. I have a lot of condescending tones that pop out whenever I start to get frustrated. So I have so much I still need to work on to be the person I need to be to help influence the change I want to help influence. I have to become that change first. I have to learn these lessons firsthand before I'm able to start teaching these lessons. Sometimes I just feel like the problem. If everybody thinks that way, if everybody believes in this God, if everybody believes in religion, if everybody this and that, then I'm the problem. And it's like, No, Stephanie, they convince you that. Not everybody believes in that stuff. You're not the only one. You're not the only person that thinks this way. You're just not exposed to a lot of people who think this way right now. I just have to hold understanding and hold compassion for myself and just trust myself, trust my journey, trust where I'm headed. Because to the root of why I'm recording this video here is because I've overcome so much and I'm going to continue overcoming. I'm going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to go ahead and actually just end the video here because I will never stop talking. I'm about to go to the bank because something's been going wrong with my card, and at Walmart it double charged me, so I'm gonna try to see if I can get my money back. But I kind of wanted to talk about what I'm thinking about, and I feel like I came to the realization of where my resentment stemmed from, and I've been really wondering why I've had so much resentment from my friends and why I've been so consumed by it. And I think the reason I have resentment is because I resent the fact that they don't want to get to know the real me. I resent them for not wanting to learn about me, not being interested in who I really am. I resent that they've only loved the version of me that was curated to make them happy, to make them feel accepted, to make them feel understood. But now that I'm being myself, and now that I'm going for my own beliefs and going for my own dreams and going for my own life, it's like suddenly I'm not someone they want to be with, which again, I can understand because of how I'm talking about their religion, but why can't they love me like my dad loves me, with like real unconditional love? My dad and I have had hours long conversations about our disagreements and about where we stand politically and religiously. Like, my dad and I had sat in a hotel in Atlanta and we just talked for hours about all the things we disagreed, and we kind of argued but bantered. But then at the end, we literally got up and we just hugged each other and walked out. All we cared about was how much we loved each other, because our differences aren't what makes our relationship. What makes our relationship is just the unconditional love and acceptance. And I feel resentment because I don't feel accepted for who I am, and that was always my fear. That fear of abandonment that I no longer have, but I was so scared that if I became myself, I wouldn't be accepted, and that's what's happening. And I think that's just taking a toll. I just ruminate on scenarios where I go off on my best friends, or I just want to make them hear me, but I just can't do that because I know that some of my friendships are over. The only friend that has really made me feel unconditionally loved and accepted is my best friend Sharia. She is everything a Christian should be. Just like my dad, like, I don't hate Christians. Like, I wish they would ask me and talk to me and figure out where I stand. And I understand my videos can be harsh sometimes. I have shit I have to work on, but like, I've known them my entire life and they can't even give me the decency of just talking with me and asking me and having a mature conversation to figure out who I am and what I actually believe. Like, I fuck with Jesus. I love Jesus, dude. Jesus was a great guy. He just wanted to spread love and for people to love themselves and trust themselves and have faith in their own abilities, because we're all like Jesus. Christ consciousness is something that is attainable to all of us, but they don't ask me questions, so they just assume, and it's like 20 years of friendship and now you're just assuming who I am because I'm not who you want me to be anymore. Like, after I started posting the videos about the Bible, Sharia asked me to hang out with her to show me that she still loved me and that it wasn't gonna get in the way of our friendship, because I think she's understood that I haven't shared the same beliefs with her, but I know her intentions. I know their intentions. That's the thing. Like, with my dad, with Becca, and Jessica, I'm pretty sure, is also Christian. I don't hate Christians. I don't like your religion. I don't respect the religion, but I can love you because I know your intentions. I know your intentions are to be a loving person. I know the intentions are to care for people and take care of people. And I just wish they would see my intentions, but all they see are my words, and they hear what they want to hear, and they twist up who I actually am. And it's like, we've been friends for 20 years and the dynamic is completely different. They can't even be around me, and suddenly I'm no longer this loving person. And that's all I want to be. I feel like I'm in more of a state of love than I was before. I believe in God and the universe now, and I didn't fully really believe in that before. Wow, I wasn't really expecting to cry. I just have resentment that my biggest fear came true, and I'm happy I'm strong enough now, and I have the courage to live through this reality without white knuckles. I can't believe I'm losing these people I've loved all my life. Like, I can't go through life anymore. I need to die. I don't have that mindset anymore. I know that if I lost you, I still have me. I'm good. It just feels like Riley and Sarah, they are incapable of seeing past their own beliefs willingness to accept somebody else for what they believe, even if it's directly against what they believe, it's almost like that's a line that's drawn, and that's not unconditional love. And I'm so happy I unconditionally love myself now. But unconditional love is not with conditions. You have to believe in this for me to love you and be your friend. You have to believe in this to be accepted. Sheree is the only one that has made me feel like I'm not a hateful person, and that I'm not like a horrible person to be around, and not just completely rejecting me as a person. Wow, I've been trying to get to the root of my resentment for so long now. I've been trying to figure out why I have so much resentment, because I've been having trouble in Sarah and I's friendships for months now, and that was before I started becoming who I am now. Riley was unexpected. I wasn't really expecting Riley to not even want to see me before I leave, but I understand, because I get it. I've hurt their feelings. I get it. I'm not who they thought I was, and this is just a clear representation of the lesson that some people will not accept you. Some people will not get to know you and want to take the effort to know you to your soul, to your core. And it's just radical acceptance that I just have to accept that. The friendships I once had are kind of over, and I hope that Sheree and I can still maintain a loving connection at least, because I think she's putting effort, you know, to be like Jesus. Like, literally, Jesus just wanted people to unconditionally accept, unconditionally love. That's all he fucking wanted, bro. And it's like, people are so disconnected from reality. They think they are like Jesus. They think and it's like, I don't even like understand how disconnected they are. Like, being like Jesus is just being in a state of love. Being in a state of fucking love and compassion and understanding. It's like the people who claim to be the most like Jesus or to be followers of Jesus can be so hateful, so unaccepting, so unloving. And people don't see the way they project. They don't see the way they're hateful. I feel like I'm self-aware, and that's also the resentment I talked about in the last clip, where why do I have to be self-aware while everybody else tells me I'm the one who misunderstands? Everybody else tells me I'm the one who's not loving and accepting. I'm the one who's hateful, and nobody's told me that. These are just more of the internal thoughts I have of trying to convince myself this is what people think, because I don't actually know what people think, because people don't communicate with me. So I'm left in a state of assumption, because I can only make assumptions because people don't actually fucking talk to me. I also just wish people would understand the way I see things. They don't have to. Again, this is just my internal thoughts. I'm just getting my feelings out. It really doesn't make sense to me. The epitome of love and light. When light or love hits a prism, it scatters color. Like a God who only promotes and permits love in one direction. It only permits love if you follow its directions. Like, do people not understand that a God telling you that a loving relationship between the same sex is wrong is inherently saying that a certain type of love is wrong, when there is no wrong type of love? So that God is only shining one color out of a prism, which is impossible. The true epitome and the true aspect of light being reflected on a prism physically cannot only shine one color, only shine one direction. It can't. Their idea of a God is already flawed in terms of it being all that light is, all that love is, and I just wish they could see that in some sense. That I'm not telling them they can't believe in a God. I'm not telling them they can't believe in Jesus. Just question the perception of God that you're taught. Maybe you can still believe in a God, just maybe update what you've been taught, update your beliefs, but that's none of my business. Again, their beliefs are their beliefs. I don't need them to change for me to love them. I just do sometimes selfishly wish that they would understand where I'm coming from and kind of see the point that I'm seeing, that I actually want to spread love. I want to spread unconditional love. I want to spread unconditionally accepting love. It's almost as if they're hearing what I'm saying and they're only hearing hate. And I don't understand that, but it's because they have their own perceptions and their own cognitive biases and their own cognitive dissonance that won't allow them to see the reality of things, because they're so conditioned to see things through the filters that they've been taught. And some people can get past those filters and truly just love unconditionally. But yeah, that's where my resentment stems. And hopefully now this will help me process a lot better. I'm thankful I got my emotions out, because I miss crying. I miss being able to really feel, and I want to get connected with that part of myself again, and I'm thankful I was able to just now. So thank you for listening to my therapy session. I love you. Please love yourself, and I will see you in the next clip. So after going to the bank, I went for a mental health drive, which is what I'm on now. I'm not quite done with it yet. I just love driving and clearing my head, and not even clearing my head. I like to think through my thoughts and get to a conclusion to where I'm not ruminating on them in a negative way. And I think I've gotten to a conclusion. I think a reason why Sarah and Riley's perceptions of me might be warped is maybe because of the rigid thinking I was experiencing during my manic episode. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm not going to go to them being like, oh, it was a manic episode. You have to understand why I was thinking the way I was thinking and why I was talking the way I was talking. But while I was manic, or at least experiencing the rigid thinking, I could not process any empathy or compassion for religious people because I was hyper fixated on religion. I was hyper fixated on the Bible, and I could really only see the logical aspect of what I was researching and thinking. But I personally choose to live off of a system of morals and logic. Not only do you need to consider morality in your decisions and your thinking and your actions, but you also need to consider logic. It's a mix between both of them. It's a balance. But I think during my manic episode, while I was in such an erratic, I wanted to educate myself and I was learning so much, all I could see was the ignorance. All I could see was, oh my God, why don't you guys see what I see? I obviously see the flaw in that now, and I'm thankful that I'm out of that way of thinking, and I can't just be like, I was manic. It's an excuse. It's an excuse. You have to understand whenever clearly I was in a state of misunderstanding. Why should I expect them to understand? But I think that's another reason why they might have this perception that I'm a hateful person, because my videos have been very rigid in thinking. No. My videos aren't horrible on TikTok, but I have had a couple of videos that I don't feel super aligned with the way that I was speaking and the way I was bringing my point across, because I'm not a hateful person. Even during that manic episode, it's not like I just became the most hateful person in the world. I just lost my sense of compassion. So I was viewing everything through the lens of purely logic. So I can understand a little bit of why they see me in the way they might see me, why Riley might not want to hang out with me, why Sarah's physically incapable of having a genuine conversation with me that's not just surface level. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I really wish I wasn't bipolar sometimes, even though I know it serves me for a reason. It's taught me lessons I need to learn. So it's not I wish I wasn't bipolar, but sometimes I wonder what it would be like to not be bipolar and to not lose control of your own, don't cry. I wonder what it's like to not lose control of your own thinking patterns and your own behaviors, because I want to be an intentional person and I want to be a loving person. I want to be an understanding person. I want to be a smart person, but sometimes my mental health issues kind of get in the way of that in ways that I can't control. I just feel like I turn into a person I don't really like and I don't really feel aligned to. Sometimes during those manic and depressive episodes, during my depressive episodes, I feel I'm incapable of anything. I can't get up. I can't do anything. I can't even follow my dreams because that's what I want to do. That's the person I want to be. I want to be goal directed. I want to be motivated, but I don't have the energy during my depressive episodes. So it's like I can't be the person I want to be because I'm so out of control. And then during my manic episodes, I experience rigid thinking and, I slip into deluded states. I experience more delusions and I'm not able to rationally think as much. And it just makes me feel like I'm less intelligent. It makes me feel like I'm less capable. It makes me feel like I'm less than. And I think during that manic episode, that's why I had the behaviors of belittling other people to uplift myself, even though that wasn't my intentions, but it was there. I just wonder what it would be like to not be bipolar sometimes, to not deal with this, to not have to explain to people that it's not a good representation of who I really am, but they take it as face value, and I have to live with the fact that some people are going to only see that as who I am. It's a part of who I am. I can't act like that's not who I was. I was just a completely different person, but I wasn't a good representation of what I stand for. And that just really frustrates me. So yeah, I'm crying a lot this week. This week's episode is just gonna be me crying and getting my emotions back and my rational thinking back after my manic episode. Because again, it's not that I disbelieve in all the things I learned during that manic episode. I just think I was so easily able to digest any and all information. So I started to take everything at face value instead of realizing, oh, these are all different perspectives, possibilities. I hope over the years, as I learn more and more about my mania and my bipolar disorder, I'm able to more and more control it and more understanding for myself and more self-awareness to be able to stop the behaviors once they start presenting themselves. So I can understand why some people have a certain perception of me, because a lot of my videos have been made with a rigid thinking and only seeing it from the perspective of all religious people are ignorant. Do I hold that belief? Yes. But do I know that their intention is to love others and believe in a God that they perceive as loving? I understand that. I can't just be like, you're ignorant, that's all you are. You're just ignorant for being religious. That's not the whole truth, at least. That's a perspective of the truth, but that's not the whole reality of it. So yeah, I'm gonna continue listening to The Bottom too. It's a SpongeBob song that goes hard. My autistic brain loves the energy and the feeling of it. I love techno pop songs because they just itch my brain in the right way. So I'm gonna continue listening to that on repeat while I drive, so. You can't even imagine my happiness whenever I went onto YouTube earlier and I saw a new video from the Y-Files and it was dedicated to the Anunnaki. I was so happy. I first went to the bank and I got that stuff done, even though I never ended up doing anything. Then I went for a drive for like an hour or 2 hours. I don't even know how long I was on that drive, but it was so great. It was so beneficial to my health and my mental health. Processed a lot, which obviously you saw in the last 2 videos. I cried a lot, which made me really happy because I like expressing my emotions. I feel like I've been so disconnected to them for such a long time that I only get to feel them in small spurts sometimes. And then whenever I eventually went home, I decided to clean up the kitchen because there were like a bunch of dishes in the sink and on the stove and stuff. So I was like, I'll just clean everything up. Then I made myself steak, asparagus, and mashed potatoes. But as I was eating that amazing meal, I watched the episode and it was so good. It is just astonishing to see that this is our reality. Like, I almost don't want to say it as a fact, but the way that they have skeletons and writings and translations, this is the reality of our creation. This is the reality, or at least mankind in the physical form. All of these different religions that have all these different myths that correlate with each other. It is so fucking cool, bro. I was so happy. I saw the Anunnaki, an hour-long episode from the Y-Files. I already knew it was going to be a good day. It has been such an amazing day today, and that was just the cherry on top. Also, ignore how my hair looks and everything because it was in a really high ponytail from whenever I was driving, so that way it wouldn't fly all over the place. But all of this is just so interesting because our true history has been hidden from us. I know damn sure. I know the government already knows all of this. They just keep it away from all of us, the citizens, because us being powerful. It's the power dynamic. There's always an imbalance in power dynamics, and power dynamics keep their civilians submissive, unintelligent, unknowledgeable, and that way they're able to manipulate and profit off of these people who don't even know better. Whenever I read the Bible, the one video that went viral about me reading the Bible, it was after I read like 4 pages into the Bible. I already got the entire point of the story. I've only read 4 pages, and it's very clear to me that God only created humans to be slaves. How are y'all not seeing this? Like, how are y'all not connecting dots? Again, though, people are taught the perception that they're supposed to see. They're taught that they need context to understand, and the context is the manipulation. They tell them what to think about the story because reading is abstract, but it's not abstract whenever you're told how to understand something. Like, this is my future. I don't know where I'm gonna go in the future. I don't know what I'm gonna experience, but I know that I'm just gonna keep learning, and that's cool. Like, I think I know a lot now, but every single day I learn more. It's so cool. Like, I'm literally so happy that this is my life path, and I'm so happy that this is my passion, but obviously because it wouldn't excite me if it wasn't meant for me, but I'm so passionate about this. I'm so excited. I've learned all of this information in the perfect order. I was introduced to all of this information in an order, in a way that I would be able to comprehend it all very well because I already have prior information giving me context to new information, and they come together and they make even more sense, and then new evidence and new stories and new myths and new things come in and they all make more sense together. Look how menacing I look. I look like I'm a cult leader or something with those fancy robes that they always have. You shall bow to my will and follow me. If not, I'll make you suffer, but then teach you that's what love is. I can't wait to go to Florida. I can't wait to drive and be with my family again. I have so much financial abundance coming into my life right now, and I'm very, very thankful. I feel like everything is just looking up. Everything's in a positive trajectory. I'm still mentally ill. I'm still struggling, but my life in general, I'm much happier. I'm much more content. I'm much more knowledgeable. I'm much more aware. I was watching my old Outliving My Diagnosis episode from season 1, episode 2, and I was talking about how I'm aware of all the corruption in the world and I'm supposed to just keep living. Yeah, sweetheart, that's what you kept doing, and that's what you're gonna have to keep doing. Now I have the opportunity to reach my potential, to show people who I can be, who I want to be, and not who I've always been forced to be. The sick, hurtful person who's hated themselves. I'm now this person who loves themselves and loves the world and loves life, and I have a passion for life, and I have a passion for learning, and I have a passion for spreading the knowledge I learn. I just see my life in a completely different perspective, a completely different light now. I used to have lens on me because I had to learn certain lessons with a certain lens on me, but now that I've worked hard and I've taken that lens off, I've rewired my brain. I have done so much work on myself. I just know that I can do anything I want. I can make my dreams come true. If I want to spend every single day in a forest just reading, I'm gonna fucking do that. Like, who's gonna tell me I can't? And if someone tries to tell me I can't, kill me. Like, literally the only way someone will ever be able to make me submit to them is by taking my life. That's it. Like, I am not a controllable person. During the week that I'm watching Vic and Amanda's dogs and cats, I'm so excited to also be there with them. I'm gonna have cat cuddles for a week. I'm gonna spend the entire week that I'm on like vacation alone. I'm gonna just spend it reading the Bible. I'm starting to get that passion and excitement for that back, because before I wasn't very excited to read the Bible anymore. I would wake up some days and I would be like, I'm ready to read. I would literally open my eyes, pick up my Bible, and be like, it's time to start reading. But then eventually that excitement went away and it got tunneled into something else, near-death experiences, which I think actually the next thing was the Y-Files. And then in between that, I watched a couple Wendigo videos and then near-death experiences. I just learned a lot. I had a bunch of different excitements that I felt more called to indulge in than just reading the Bible. But yeah, it is the most fascinating information, and I'm just so excited for the world that we are going into. I am so excited for all of the knowledge that's going to be coming out, and the more and more society wakes up, the more and more we're able to stop this corruption that's going on. First, I have to focus on myself. I have to educate myself. I have to heal myself to the best of my ability, and then I can start helping other people and start branching out to more people. Just like Gray reminded me during the solar eclipse, I have to work on the internal. I have to be content with the internal world instead of focusing on the external world, which I can't control, but I can control my internal world. I hope I can help people, and I hope I can spread information. Hopefully it's not the wrong kind. You know, I so badly do not want to spread the wrong kind of information, but all of the evidence is pointing towards the same shit, bro. The same shit. And the mainstream is trying to suppress it. Of course, fuck the mainstream. They're not going to be mainstream for much longer. That's why they hate TikTok. There's new systems emerging. There's new communities emerging. There's new power emerging that they don't have control over. So, it's me again. I don't really know how to work through these feelings right now, so I'm just gonna talk about them. I know I need to work on my whole having the courage to be disliked, knowing that not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody's gonna understand you, but I think I struggle with that when it comes to people that are your loved ones and people who are close to you. The tang of rejection from some people and not really understanding why. And I'm excited because in a week, I feel like I'll be breaking out of a bubble in some sense. I'll be able to hang out with my sisters more. I'll be able to reconnect with people since I'll be around them again. But I think because of my autism and my inability to really connect with people unless I'm directly around them, because I'm not someone who wants to be on my phone all the time. I'm not going to spend all of my time forcing myself to lower my energy levels by calling people, catching up with people, when I'd rather us have a more enriching conversation in person, being able to catch up on everything. I can't force it. Like, I can't force communication. I don't like to be on my phone communicating all the time. That's not the way my brain is wired. I genuinely don't have the energy. Sometimes I lose track of my own understanding of my health, and I forget that just because these are my needs does not mean it's perceived as that by other people. Oh, she never talks to us. She never catches up with us. I want to. It's not a lack of love. I just don't really remember things exist outside of my own awareness. But what if some of my sisters feel that way? And these are all assumptions again, because I live in a bubble and I'm also a hypocrite and I also make assumptions. I'm just so scared that I'll use the courage to be disliked as a way to not be aware of why I might be disliked. And I almost don't even want to accept that some people will just not like you because it's an internal thing. I have to figure out for sure if it's a me problem. I need to fix it if it's a me problem. But then if I tell myself it's not a me problem, I just think I'm my mom and I'm just trying to get out of accountability of my own actions and the way I hurt people. I use so much of my energy to try to take care of myself and my basic needs. I just don't have that energy to extend on to other people over a phone. I feel like I've gone through so many lessons and emotions today. I'm processing so much all of the time. I so badly don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be a villain. I don't want to hurt people, but some things are inevitable. And I just don't know what people's perception of me actually is. And you could argue, yes, that is none of my business, I know. But also I want it to be my business because I want to be likable. I want to help everyone, even the people who don't like me. And I want to figure out why they don't like me so I can fix it. But what if the things I'm wanting to fix are actually just them problems that they're internally projecting onto me? But I can't just assume that, because what if I'm doing something? I don't want to be unself-aware. I feel like I overcompensate for my fear. Oh yeah, that's what it is. I don't remember my childhood, but I'm told that it affected a lot of people, and so I never really know how to think about myself. Do I think of it from the perspective of a poor little girl who has been misunderstood since the day she was born? and never had her needs met? Or do I think of it from a perspective of I was a horrible person who treated people horribly and that wasn't okay? I don't remember, so I don't know what to believe. It sucks having to trust other people and their perceptions because you never know how other people's perceptions are warped because we all have warped perceptions. I'm not saying that their experiences aren't valid because they're so valid. I just needed someone to see me and help me instead of ridiculing me and calling me a problem. I was a problem because I had problems. It seemed like everybody only cared about how it affected them, and it was never about how it affected me. So, of course, because the root of the problem wasn't being fixed, the problem kept getting worse, and the perception kept growing of me being the problem. I was being targeted, and everybody was just allowing her to get away with everything because, I get it, we were all scared. I always fought back, and I always knew that what was happening wasn't okay. Being a person of resilience and being someone who can't be controlled, I have to accept I won't be liked because people who are under a controlled perception. Oh my god, oh my god. That was so disgusting. Oh, I feel like making these videos brings me so much clarity because I know I'm gonna make mistakes and I know I have made mistakes, and it's completely valid for people to respond in the ways that they do or feel certain ways about me because within their perception I am the villain. Like, it's not even a matter of they perceive me as the villain. Like, I might have hurt people, I might have done things, but I think when I record these videos it reminds me of my current intentions and my current path and my current trajectory in life. But then I remember nobody sees these videos, so it just reminds me that it's all an internal journey, and I get overwhelmed because I have this sense that nobody actually knows who I am, and nobody actually knows what my morals are and where my logic lies. I feel like nobody actually knows me, and I feel like I don't really even give people the opportunity to know me, which stems back to that whole communication thing, because if I'm not around you to be able to hang out with you in person, I just can't talk to you all the time. I can't maintain communication within a cellular device. I understand it's super easy nowadays. Having a conversation over the phone drains me in a way that I can't even explain. And I feel like other people with autism experience this too, so I know I'm not alone. It's hard to accept that other people won't understand that, and they're going to take that personal, inherently meaning I'm hurting people. I can't just force myself to talk to someone all the time because I am assuming they feel we don't talk enough, and now they don't like me because we never talk and I never have interest in their life. If they were able to be around me and we were able to hang out more, then I would have ample interest in their life. I would ask them all the questions in the world like I always do with people. And again, that goes back to the overcompensating, that I overcompensate for the fear that I don't want to be like my mom. I was telling Gray all these things about how she's overcompensating, and now here I am. I do the same thing. Nobody around me's brain works the way mine does, so nobody really understands things from the perspectives I understand them from. And then whenever I'm not liked, I don't understand why, but it's because I have a completely different viewpoint of the world, and I'm a reflection of what people have been taught is wrong. I keep generalizing. I need to stop that. I need to stop my filler word problem. I need to stop generalizing everything because my intention isn't really to generalize. I don't think everybody, but in my head, everybody is just the people around me. The world I'm perceiving is everybody, so I say everybody, but I don't mean the entire world everybody. Sometimes I really just get stuck not knowing if I should trust myself or not. If I trust myself, that means going against everything I've been taught and everything the world tells you to know. And how do you know that you're not just crazy and deluded? How do I not know I'm actually a horrible person and I treat people horribly and I have no actual self-awareness because I don't care to, because I'm a self-centered bitch or something? I just feel like I'm constantly swirling through different perspectives and different worlds of how to perceive things, and I never really know what to validate. And I validate what I feel is best to validate, which is love, the education I've been giving myself, healing, becoming self-aware regardless if people around me are, going on a different path even if it seems wrong, but feeling it's right. It's really hard to do everything on your own. And again, I'm not saying I don't have love and support. I have my best friend Gray and Victoria. They give me an amazing space to talk and info dump to them, and Gray has taught me so much. But I feel like so much of what I'm thinking about is still a solo battle. It's still a solo thing I have to go through, because while my best friend and my sister are willing to hear about it, they can't exactly give me insight on their perspectives because they don't really know anything about what I'm talking about. They don't know anything about the Anunnaki. They don't know anything about the Bible. They don't know anything about all of that. But there's always this hint of uncertainty of doubt of maybe I'm all wrong. You know? I want to know if I'm wrong. I want facts and proof to prove that I'm wrong because I do not want to know a false truth. I do not want to live my life in ignorant bliss. And trust me, this is not just bliss. It is very freeing knowing this knowledge, but doing it in this sense alone when everybody seemingly around you thinks vastly different ways and believes in vastly different things. It almost feels like a concept of, do I trust the sick person, the patient, the one with the problems, or do I trust a sick society? But I wish I had mentors for myself because I wish there was someone smarter than me in my life. And not that I'm saying I'm smarter than everybody in my life. I'm just more knowledgeable in certain areas, in certain topics, that I wish I had people who are smarter than me in those topics. So that way I could grow and learn from them. But I feel like people are always growing and learning from me, whether that's me killing things inside of them and making them question their entire existence and them hating me for it, or if it's people like Gray, where they benefit from me in a positive way because it's a mutual friendship, it's a mutual relationship where we're both teaching each other things and spreading love and spreading kindness with each other. But sometimes I wish I didn't have to talk to a camera to process things, and I didn't have to talk to a camera to share my own interests or to talk to someone or feel connected to myself. I love talking to a camera. It just sometimes is discouraging because whenever I make videos I'm really proud of and nobody sees them, it's like, oh my god, how embarrassing, nobody's seeing these. What if the few people who do see these things are actually just talking shit behind my back and talking about how crazy I am? But then of course I know my new core belief is like, Stephanie, that's one, none of your business, and two, you know that you're not here for instant gratification. I know that if this is what I'm meant to do, it will serve me in the future when it's meant to serve me. My videos will gain traction when they're meant to gain traction, when I'm ready for it. It's like I know things, I just don't utilize that knowledge sometimes. I fall into doubt and I fall into struggle because it is so hard to trust yourself when you have a brain like mine sometimes. I'm opening up to lessons I've been avoiding all my life because these are lessons you learn when you're ready to accept people aren't going to like you, and I've never liked the idea of people not liking me, and confidently disliked. Like, I don't care what your opinion about me is because I know that your opinion of me might be valid in your reality, but I know my intentions, I know my goals, I know my heart, I know my morals, and I make mistakes. I'm no perfect person, but I wonder when it will happen. When will it be my time to be understood? They might not even have to believe in everything I believe in, but they won't see me as crazy or rude or disrespectful or hateful. It's just so hard to accept that nobody's coming to save you. You really have to save yourself. And I'm just having an emotional moment right now. I'm not saying I'm horrible right now and I'm in the worst part of my life, because I'm not. I've already gone through the worst, or the worst so far, assumably, because the only attention I've ever really been given has been negative attention. So I isolate myself so I don't gain attention because people have always seen me in a negative light. I never understood why my mom hated me so much. Erin was the first child. She got it the worst. She got it first. And then when Erin left, I became my mom's personal trigger. And then I went into life still not understanding why people didn't like me. And I never understood why it was so hard for people to see me in a positive light. I feel like I've been submerged in negative energy my entire life. I want nothing more than to feel positive and be surrounded by positive. But when you're submerged in negativity, all you absorb and know is negativity. So all you externalize is negativity. All you feel is negativity. I was that little girl who just needed help. Someone to stop looking at her as the problem and as a burden, and look at her as someone who maybe has problems and maybe should get checked out. But then I remind myself, we were really poor, right? So they probably couldn't even help me if they wanted to. So I was really just a burden in their reality because they couldn't do anything about my problems. Sometimes during moments like this, I feel like I've only scratched the surface of healing. I still have so much more processing and accepting to do, because I feel like I've come to the realization recently that processing is just you getting to the point of acceptance. You're processing acceptance. It's not like you're processing it and one day your brain's just used to it. It's a process to accept that you went through that. It's just hard looking into my past. I do think the past is in the past. I don't want to drag myself back down there and live in there whenever I can live in the present, but sometimes when you think about the past, you're like, damn, all of that happened. I wasn't just making it all up for attention or whatever. I'm gonna need to watch some Tamcore to get my brain back into shape. Once I leave, I feel like I'm gonna be brought so much clarity. I'm not living under somebody else's roof. My living situation isn't dependent on them. I get to just be myself and do whatever I want and learn the lessons I need to learn and focus on my path. I do think I will shut up now, but it's only Wednesday, so I hope this doesn't last much longer because I talk way too much, even to myself. I just finished writing a letter to my best friend Sarah. I've been contemplating what I'm going to be doing before I leave. My friendship with Sarah has been on the rocks for many months now, at least on my end of the relationship. At first, I was going to talk to her in person and just tell her that I don't think it's smart for me to be her maid of honor. I feel like she deserves someone who can support her in the way that I can't. Actually, I don't want it to be in the background. But Octavia seeing the outside for the first time. I love this show. I feel like she deserves a maid of honor that's really excited for her wedding, that can support her relationship in the way that I can't. I'm not the biggest fan of her fiance. I've kind of just told her how I was feeling a couple times, and it's her relationship. Again, I don't tell her those things and expect her to change. Her fiance also doesn't like me. I walk into a room, the energy changes. He can't even look at me in the eyes, but it's not my relationship. It's not my circus, not my monkeys. And if they love each other, then it's none of my concern at all. But as I continue to think about it, I feel like it's best for me to end it. It's not because I want to end our friendship and I never want to see her again because I hate her and I'm splitting on her. If anything, this is the most rational decision I've made in a very long time. I've thought about it a lot. I've talked to a lot of people about it, and I just feel this is the best decision for me to make. I can't stay in a relationship, a friendship where she makes no effort. She doesn't ask me anything. I hung out with her the other day and it was just me asking her questions the entire time. There was no interest in my life, and that's a common pattern, and that's how it's been for a very long time. But in terms of splitting with BPD, there's also the idealization process where you idealize someone and you don't want to lose someone, so you create this version of them in your head that makes it to where you can't leave them because they're just on such a high pedestal. You just love them so much. They can do no wrong. And I feel like I've let a lot of things slide. I've let a lot of behavior slide, and I think it's time for me to focus on myself and do what's best for myself. This is 20 years of friendship. I feel confident in what I'm doing because she hasn't put any effort in our friendship in a very, very long time. But I just feel bad because it almost feels like I was living in her house and the second I leave, I'm just dropping her. But I've lived in her house and she doesn't talk to me. She doesn't hang out with me. She's just always with her fiance. And for the past year, I've grown so much resentment. I've even communicated this resentment to her. I've sobbed to her asking for more bestie time. I've sobbed to her asking her to care about me too, to hang out with me too. Every so often, maybe. We live under the same roof. Do you not think about me? Do you not care about me? Am I not someone you are interested in hanging out with? She doesn't confide in me. We don't talk about anything. We don't have deep conversations. And so since I decided to not have that conversation, because again, I've tried to communicate multiple times and it just never leads anywhere. Communication is important, but comprehension is even more important. And I feel like she's never comprehended the true state of how I felt about our friendship before I read the Bible. Again, I want to clarify that because I can understand her resentment for me and her discontentment for me after I started reading the Bible. She identifies herself with her religion and I'm speaking out against her religion. So very valid feelings that she's allowed to have. But before that, things weren't good. I wasn't happy. I've tried to communicate and our friendship is just in rumbles. We're performing for each other. I never thought I'd ever do this. You think you'd be best friends with your childhood best friend forever. And I hope this doesn't heavily affect my relationship with Riley and Shreya because it's not really about them. But Riley not texting me back, not even wanting to see me before I leave kind of gave me the impression already that, okay, maybe she feels the same way that Sarah feels, or maybe she feels that way about me. Maybe she doesn't want to be around me anymore. I can understand that. I just wasn't expecting it, but I can accept it. But I think that now that I'm becoming who I am, I'm not as accepted. This version of myself is not as acceptable because I'm going against their God. And I understand that. Again, this is not a lack of understanding for that. I think it's just grieving of what's being lost. I don't know how this will all play out. This is just a very challenging time in my life. Challenges are not meant to be easy. They're not easy decisions you make that you breeze through. Sometimes you don't know if this is the right decision or not, but you have to trust yourself. You have to trust that everything is going to work out the way it's meant to, and that following your instinct is the best way to go. And I feel like my instincts have been telling me to do this for a while. I've been stuck in the shackles of BPD, stuck in the shackles of fear of abandonment and idealization. I couldn't really accept what was right for me, because what was right for me meant losing people who have loved me my entire life and still love me. I still love them. This isn't a matter of lack of love. It's just that love isn't enough. And that's a really hard lesson to learn and to apply into your life, because how do you know you're making the right decisions? How do you know you're not just discarding someone who could be good for you and loves you, and maybe they'll get better, maybe they'll grow up one day, maybe they'll become the person I want them to be. I want to be happy. I want to live a healthy life. I can't avoid hard things anymore. I can't avoid the inevitable. I'm gonna keep watching the 100. This is definitely gonna be a long episode, so I don't blame me. This is a huge transition in my life. I don't expect these episodes to be 20 minutes long when I'm literally exiting my old life and entering a new one. Holy shit. I never fucking thought I'd be having this conversation with a camera, or that I'd ever be doing something like this, because there was a time in my life where I couldn't even imagine living without Sarah. But then we had a connection, then we hung out, then she had interest in me. For the past year, she's only had interest in her relationship. She's only hung out with her fiance. She hasn't talked to me, hasn't hung out with me, hasn't gotten to know me, and we just are going on different paths. So I'm gonna end this video here because I could just keep running in circles and talking. I am so beyond annoyed right now because my ex, Xavian, who was my favorite person, is my favorite person. He is my weakness. He is my kryptonite. The other day, he tried to add me on Snapchat, instantly blocked him. I was like, universe, I get you're trying to test me right now. I'm not taking the test. I'm not taking the test. I blocked him. And then today, he added me 3 more times. He made 3 more accounts, blocked him 3 times. And then the next time, I was like, I'm not that strong. So I answered and I texted him, and then eventually I started sexting him. I sent like 2 messages where I encouraged his messages, and I was like, stop. Because it's like the devil handing you exactly what you want on a silver platter. He offered to pay for my gas, he offered to pay for the hotel, he offered to cuddle me, which is all I fucking want. All I want is cuddles. 2 nights ago maybe, I sobbed myself to sleep thinking about how much I missed cuddling him, because he infiltrates my mind. He is my kryptonite, seriously. I am such a strong person. I'm resilient. When it comes to Xavian, sign me up. Let me get disrespected and fucked. I was texting him. I was getting the high. I always get off of him because he makes me feel wanted, and that's all I ever fucking want. But then I blocked him. I said, you're my weakness, and I blocked him, and he's probably gonna make another account because I've already entertained him. He knows that he's gotten my attention now, and he's gonna keep making accounts. He's gonna text me, and a part of me hopes he doesn't, because I am just not strong enough sometimes. I know I have the strength internally. The problem isn't that I'm not strong enough, it's that I want it. I want him. I want to text him. I want to call him. I want to do everything with him. Just because it's something you want doesn't mean it's what you need. And I know this is inherently the universe testing me, or me testing myself. There he is. Zach just added you on Snapchat. His alter ego name is Zach, not even Xavian. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I need to stay strong, okay? I need to not entertain him. I need to keep blocking him. I don't want to. It's not that I can't, because I can't is just not an efficient thing to say, because I'm capable of anything, I know. I want him so bad. I actually need him. It feels like a need. It feels like an aching fix that I need. I need my high. I need my fix. I need the validation. If you guys have BPD, you know this is so hard. I understand everything about BPD. I understand the psychology of what I'm experiencing right now. That doesn't mean I stop experiencing it. How annoying is that? God, it's so fucking annoying. There he goes again. There he goes again. There he goes again. There he goes again. There he is again. It's like fighting all of the demons. I'm literally a fucking ant floating on a rock in space. This is not even that big of a deal, bro. It's literally just a man. It's like all I can do is laugh because I look so pathetic. But it's not a matter of shit talking myself. I have to understand. I have to have compassion. I have to end the video. I can't keep whining like this. I can do this off screen. I can do this off camera, but no need to humiliate myself further. But please just leave this video knowing that you are sexy, you are valid, and you are loved. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Hope you like my videos. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say as YouTubers?